All right, guys, welcome to today's episode. We're going to talk about 3 no-brainer ways to save bar and restaurant owners money that cost zero investment. And who I have on today is Jason Schofield, the COO of Hive. Jason, how you doing, bud?
Good, man. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Now, just to give my audience kind of an idea of how we met and why I want to bring you on, let's just talk about how we met. You had reached out to me on Facebook in one of the bar restaurant groups and was like, hey man, you got DirecTV, and told you I did, and he says, hey, I'm almost positive I can save you a bunch of money on DirecTV, and I was like, okay, bullshit, I doubt it, but anyways, I gave you those invoices like you needed them. And I was pretty surprised because 24 hours later, you came back and just one of the bars was $1,700 you saved us. Another one, I believe, was $2,200.
Yep.
And what I liked even more about this whole thing and why I have you on and what started this relationship is you didn't, charge me to do that. It was just to start the relationship, which is really, really smart to do. We also do this in the bar restaurant industry with customers of, sometimes doing a freebie or something to get them in the door, start that relationship, and hopefully build that with them. So it's a smart strategy of how to obviously build business and why we're talking here together. But it was kind of funny because then I asked you, I'm like, well, can you do, my dad has 2 bars, and I think you saved him, it was another around 1900 or 2001. And I think it was almost 32 or 3,300 at the other bar, Oscars, that he had. But I was blown away by that. And as we started talking, you were giving me other ways of how to save money that I had no clue about being in the bar restaurant business. I've been in this my whole entire life. And I thought it was important, especially during these times, to talk about, all those ways to our audience, to let them know exactly what you do, how you can save them money, but, also how they can save on the DirecTV bill, because football season is going to be here before we know it, and if we're at 50%, 75% capacities and all that, with the way the stuff is going, we're going to need to cut costs. So I wanted to bring you on. Let's talk about DirecTV first, and let's get into the other 2 ways right after that.
Sounds good. So yeah, DirecTV, we have a national account with AT&T. That was my little man homeschooling, even during COVID. You gotta love it. So we have our own national account with DirecTV where we're able to leverage our buying power and doing what we do on a basis. So with that, they give us a discount, and then we allow our members to participate in it. We don't charge them. We don't do anything because ultimately we want to earn your business and do that stuff. And that's pretty much one of the ways just one of many ways that we have that are available to offer some of our owners and operators and members now, such as yourself and your dad.
Okay. So pretty much like I remember when I was asking you this, the big chains who have hundreds of locations and they're able to get this discounted pricing because they have so many, you're able to help solo operators like myself bring that down to what the national chains are getting pretty much.
So yeah, you wouldn't be able, the deals that you have and your father has and anyone else that's a member of Hive, you wouldn't be able to get that unless you had 25 units. So that's where DirecTV, AT&T says, all right, they have to have 25 units and they have to be able to, that's the minimum to get this stuff. So with our group, they will bring on anybody and do that from there.
Okay, sounds good. And then the other way that we were talking about, or that you brought up to me, were rebates. How were you able to help with rebates, for that type of program?
So rebates, everyone is eligible for a rebate. Doesn't matter what kind of business, how big, how small. You buy a phone, you get a rebate. You get a car, you get a rebate. You buy a computer, you get a rebate. Everything that you buy in your restaurant's the same thing. You get rebates from the manufacturers. How we join in, we come in and we take all of that together and we aggregate it all together. Then we file rebates on your behalf. And that's pretty much anyone and everybody is available to participate in rebates, and it's free.
Okay. And so is this with any food group? I know you can do it with me. I have Reinhardt.
Yep. Reinhardt, Shamrock, US, Cisco, and about 350 other ones throughout the United States. Everyone from Granger, HC Supply, Dade Paper, Imperial, Auburn Paper. There's a multitude of manufacturers we work with, and companies and distributors and opcos that we work with that to pass these savings along. Yes.
Okay. And so if we wanted to get into this, which I've jumped into it with you, but just kind of explain, like, what's the process, short overview of the process of how someone would get started in this rebate program and start getting money, and how do they get that money, or how do they save? How does the bar restaurant owner see that money?
Good question. So typically it's a check mail quarterly directly to the restaurant. wherever you tell me to mail them, it'll come right to you. It is typically 1% of what your cost of goods that you purchase. So if you're purchasing $300,000 from a Reinhardt or a Cisco, you should be getting at least a minimum of $3,000 back from anyone, whether they're giving it to you or anybody. But it's usually, that's how that works in a perfect world, is 1 to 2%. I say 1 because I'd rather promise you the minimum and then give you the maximum. So 1%, customer number, distributor, location, email, and phone number, and that's pretty much all I need to get that process going.
And there's no cost to get into this?
None.
Right. Okay. Awesome. And people are going to wonder, before we get into the third way, but how do you guys make your money then? We're saving all this. That was my biggest thing. It's like, this sounds too good to be true. How are you making this money? We all got to make money. I'm not upset about that. It's just
absolutely
what people want to know.
It's the biggest question that we get. So there's 100 restaurants in your area. We put all those people together, and then we take all 100 restaurants for a number, and then we aggregate that, make a big Excel spreadsheet. We take that data, and then I say, all right, I'm moving this many cases of French fries, this many cases of gloves, and then we go to the manufacturer, and I say, all right, Mr. Manufacturer, here's how many customers in this area. We have 100 that are doing this. This is how we're doing it. This is how many cases. This is how many stuff. They give us a contract or a deviation and a rebate program. And then all we do is file that on your behalf, because you, as the owner and operator, you don't have time to file on average 330 line items is what an average restaurant will order. No, you don't have time to do that. It's a full-time job in itself. So what we do, we file all that on your behalf. We get paid by the manufacturer, our admin fee from them. So what happens is everyone can participate in the rebates, but then our bigger chains, 5 units or more, they get to load our deviations and contract prices. And that's kind of how we make our money. So by volume, just the more volume I have, we get that little piece from the top.
Got it. Awesome. Okay. And then let's talk about the third way. It was the Axis group. And I'll let you dive into that, but I got a few other questions about that.
Yeah. So the Axis Group is a platform that we put together with one of our channel partners, and it is under a Section 125. So it's a health and wellness employee benefit. It doesn't replace your medical or your insurance. It's a supplemental. So what it does, it makes the owner get a $543 tax credit for every one of his employees that participate again. There's no fee. There's no cost to the employee or the employer, and the employee takes home more money because they're paying less in FICA, the FICA tax credit. The employer is getting a tax credit per employee. And what happens is you get an app on your phone, and all they do is they go on there and they'll take about a 5-minute quiz a month of just, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Watch a little video, and that's it. Employee takes more money home.
This is our employee doing that? This is our employee or the bar owner, restaurant owner?
Employee does it. So it's all participation based. And once that employee opts in, they just watch a video once a month. And as long as they're doing that, the owner is going to get that tax credit, and that employee is going to take home more money on their paycheck, anywhere from $50 to $150 a month, depending on what their pay is. But the employer gets a $543 tax credit, and the employee takes home more money, costs them nothing. But then what they get in that is some telemedicine benefits. They can call in over the phone and get like some stuff like that. They get health and wellness, and there is some positive things that come along with it. And I can share that with you, and you can share it with all your members, the flyer that we have that kind of goes more into depth on that.
Okay. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll probably post a link to that flyer down below this. Yep. That'd be perfect. So here's the big question. He says that the employee has to go in and watch this video. As we all know, being bar restaurant owners, it's hard enough to get them to do side work that's on a checklist or whatever at the end of their shift, or get them to show up on time. So what would you suggest a bar restaurant owner to make sure that they get this credit at the end, that these guys are doing this on a monthly basis? Is there a way to do it with this company for your business to say, okay, all this stuff has to be done by the 15th, and you have some kind of management process in place to say, hey, did you get this done?
It's built into the system. So it reminds you that, hey, you're getting here. All you need to do is log on. And it's an app on their phone. It reminds them, hey, just take your 10 questions, or did you get 30 minutes of activity this week? It'll ask you that once a month and ask you a few questions, but it reminds the employee to do it, and it will push them to do it. So again, it's an opt-in only. It's not mandatory. And if you don't want more money come home, then it's on you. If your employer doesn't have the incentive to ask, hey guys, take your phone out and do it, it's up to them, but it's all opt-in only. But it does have reminders built into it.
All right. So you're telling me if I have 20 employees, basically I'm getting about $11,000-12,000 back at the end of the year.
Yeah, you're gonna get. Yeah, you're gonna get 543 if they all say an opt-in. Yes.
Yeah, that's a nice little car payment.
That is, but I mean, and then think about this also for the employer. They're going to make, if you take $50 a week, a paycheck or a month, or you take $100 a month, that's another $1,200 back a month in to the employer and to the employee. That might be his cell phone bill. That might be a part of his daycare bill for them. That might be their tolls to get to and work, or their parking permit at the garage down the road that they have to, so that $100 a month or $50 or $150 a month for the employee adds up too. I mean, it helps relieve them, and the employer, it obviously benefits them as well.
So realistically, let's just take DirecTV out of this, out of these two programs, from what you're telling me, on average, and I know there's different volumes, okay, but I mean, on average, would you say doing both of these, someone could easily save, minimum $1,000-1,500 a month in the long run?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you're gonna, on average, that restaurant's gonna get $3,000 back if they're purchasing $300,000 a year. And then if they had 20 employees, times that by $500, so 20, that's another 10 grand. That's $13,000 right there. If they just had 20 employees and they were purchasing $300,000, that's $13,000 that we just did without even looking at DirecTV or anything else that we can do for them.
Awesome. Well, Jason, I appreciate it. I had learned a lot from you before. I'm glad I, wasn't just, hey, no, I don't want to talk to you, because that's how us bar restaurant owners are. We're getting hit up all the time. Hey, your Google listing's expired. You get the phone call and all that. So guys, I only bring people on and talk to people if I'm actually using it and endorse it myself. So if you're looking to save some money, talk to Jason. I don't have any kind of referral fee, anything for this. This is just to help you guys out. Jason, I'll leave all your information down below this video. And thanks again.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, bud.